max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Going till there ain't nothing. Keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Going till there ain't nothing. Keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Going till there ain't nothing. Keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Going till there ain't nothing. Keep the flame on. Gotta 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 keep the flame on. Keep the flame on.
This is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. This is a shakedown.
Ladies and gentlemen, football fans of North Central Ohio, you are now entering the Friday Night Pigskin. So get strapped in, lay some tide, and get right for big hits, top plays, and highlights. All coming your way from under the Friday Night Lights. The most exciting sounds and sights, gridiron action to serve your viewing delights. Let's go. Friday Night Lights. Get hype, it's Friday night. Friday Night Lights. Get hype, here we go now. Friday Night Lights. Get hype, it's Friday night. Friday Night Lights. Get hype, here we go now. He's at the 10, the 5, touchdown! Throws it over the middle and he gets absolutely sauced. Friday Night Lights. Get hype, it's Friday night. Friday Night Lights. Get hype, here we go now.
He's out with his feet, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Exactly what he does. Rolls out, steps up, lobs it long to the
Got
end
him.
zone. Caught!
Touchdown! Oh my
Touchdown!
gosh! Oh my!
What a catch on 4th and 4.
Wow, what a crazy Friday night of high school football we had right here in North Central Ohio, and we've got all the action coming your way right here and now. My name is Brian Skowronski. I am your host, and if you can believe it, the fastest 10 weeks of the year already halfway through. We are at the midway point of the high school football regular season, and we had some killer, monster, big-time matchups already within conference races going down here tonight. We'll begin with, in my opinion, the biggest game on paper in the area in the WCAL. Dalton, last year's Division VII state runner-up on the road at the last remaining unbeaten in the conference in Hillsdale. Let's take you over to the Falcons lair right now and show you how it all played out. Falcons have not won the league since 2014. Members of that team were on hand, though, here tonight to try to spark some enthusiasm, but they would see Carter Hignite, just a sophomore, but this dude is unbelievably electric. You see him find a crease to the outside, 11-yard touchdown run on the opening drive. It is quickly 7-0 Bulldogs out in front. But the very first play from scrimmage for the Falcons, look at all the trickery in the backfield. They go deep. And if you get fooled by the eye candy, you're going to get schooled for 6. Cal Lewis to Hayden McFadden, 70 yards. We are all square. Took him just 17 seconds to even up the score. But now here's Hignite on the end around, and this is the older brother Brady with the throw. 30-yard strike to the end zone. That's Wenger, and it's 14-7. Seesaw battle would continue. Lewis now goes to the end zone. It's Holland Young, a jump ball. He'll bring it in. 29-yard touchdown. We've got 28 points already in the first quarter, and we're not done because Sammy Tomlinson's getting behind the defense. Welcome back from the shoulder injury. He'll skirt in 44 yards to regain command at 21-14. Fast forward now, second quarter, more trickery from the Falcons on a third down. The old hook and lateral. Owen Sloan rumbles 80 yards. They needed 13 to move the chains. Instead, they'll move the entire length of the field. It is all square at 21 apiece. Defense has actually started playing a little bit, though. No more scoring for the rest of the second. A field goal would be added by Dalton. They took the lead, but Hillsdale would take their first advantage of the night here late in the third. Owen Sloan in. It's 28-24. Dogs respond faster than instant mashed potatoes in the microwave. How slippery is this dude? Again, Hignite, the sophomore, into the zone. It's 31-28, but Cal Lewis was awesome in the second half. So was Holland Young. Look at this. Snatches the ball right away from the defender. You thought it was going to be picked off. Instead, they're right on the perimeter of the red zone. And then Sloan puts the Falcons on top for good. He gets in from 1 yard out. And Hillsdale's defense would stop him on a couple of late possessions. They would hold on to win it. Final score of 31-28. Or excuse me, 35 to 21. 900 total yards of offense in this game. So both teams, you saw the scales tip back and forth. Nobody could build a 2-possession lead. That's what me and my color commentator Andy Jardy were talking about all night. Who can get back-to-back scores? Nobody was able to ever at any point in this game until late when the Falcons overtook them. Owen Sloan was big time, but Kale Lewis is going to be my Phenom nominee for this week. I talked about the sophomore quarterback for the Bulldogs. How about the sophomore signal caller over here for Hillsdale? This dude is going to be record-setting by the end of just his first season under center. That's why I got to nominate him for a Phenom this week. And he was absolutely perfect in the second half. Here's the trickery early in the game, but look at how quick he gets it off the wrist, goes deep, setting up touchdowns. Huge numbers for him all night, and he would go 11 for 11 in the second half. Dude went for over 360 yards and 3 scores to help Hillsdale knock off Dalton in what is a true barometer game, I think, for both of these teams, and certainly in the WCAL. Norwayne still lurking out there. I know Smithville and Rittman will have something to say when the script is all said and done, but the Falcons took a huge leap into the driver's seat tonight. There are Lewis's numbers. He was crazy efficient. 19 of 22 through the air, and like I said, did not miss a single pass in the second half. So congratulations to Trevor Klein, the Hillsdale Falcons. I mentioned that 2014 squad that was the last to win the WCAL was in attendance tonight, and maybe that put a little fuel to the fire for the Falcons to go out there and get a dub at home. The MOAC, we feel like from top to bottom, maybe the best in the entire area. There's going to be a lot of parity within the league. We were at 3 of their matchups tonight. Joshua Banks was over in Pleasant Country. They had River Valley at their place, Josh, and anticipation for this game, maybe a lot of offense. How'd it play out?
Anticipation for this game was Pleasant to dominate from the 2 other times I've seen River Valley this year, and I tell you what, it was complete opposite, and it was a lot of defense, even though there was a lot of points. We're going to take a look at the highlights here. River Valley is going to start early and often. Chase Ebert, a 42-yard catch and run to Colton Lang, a young man that wasn't even in the starting lineup at receiver. They have an injury. This kid comes in, catches the first touchdown, carrying kids to the end zone, and that's number 1. You're going to see him again right here, the absolute beautiful over-the-shoulder throw from Chase Ebert. Lang gets in. That's his second time. Ebert does that every week. Now you're going to see Ebert's going to find Eli Snyder, another dime, off balance, over the shoulder. You can't throw the ball any better than that. That's Ebert's third, and it's still the first half. And here comes Colton Lang again, his 3rd touchdown of the night, little post pattern over the middle. He goes for 3. Ebert throws for 5. All 5 of those touchdown passes coming in the first half.
So obviously the offense had it dialed in tonight for the Viking ship. They were rowing in the right direction. But the defense, too, to hold Pleasant without a highlight tonight, that's a feat of its own.
The question mark all year for the Vikings has been their defense. Chase Ebert was our MVP tonight, and that was even his words. Our defense has been the question mark. They weren't the question mark tonight, Brian.
And we saw all the Chase Ebert highlights out there, so I feel like probably going to be up for nominee tonight.
I kind of have to dominate Chase Ebert, the senior signal caller for the Vikings, for our fee nominee. You've seen his highlights. He goes 17 of 23 for 286 yards. And again, 5 touchdowns. He didn't have to do anything in the second half. He threw for 228 yards on 14 completions and 5 touchdowns in the first half. It was a cakewalk for him.
But if he's going to be a nominee, you would certainly say that Lang has to get the Co-Star Award. 17's all over the field, making him look real good.
Colton had over 100 yards receiving. He had 3 touchdowns. And again, it was funny because Chase comes up to the booth and tells my other guy, Mark Bullinger, that Colton wasn't even in the lineup tonight. Somebody goes down with an injury pregame. Colton steps in, and I doubt he comes off the field offensively for the rest of the season.
That's all it takes, a next man up mentality. And if you're able to get out there and showcase what he did tonight, obviously there's going to be a lot of minutes in his future. RV back at home next week. Harding reeling a little bit right now, coming off of a loss at Highland. So I think a chance here for the Vikings to start building some momentum. Even in a couple of the losses that you've seen for them, they've at least put up points. They've been in ball games.
Well, and RV comes out this week. They shut out Pleasant. They shut Ontario out in the second half last week. Ontario's 28-14 win, all 28 points came in the first 2 quarters. So their defense really showed up in the second half last week. They put a complete game together here, and let's not count out these Vikings because they still play Shelby, they still play Galion. They're 1-1 in the MOAC, and there's only 2 unbeaten teams left, I think.
Well, 2 unbeatens that you just mentioned played each other tonight, Josh. Galion was over at Shelby tonight. One of the biggest games, of course, in the area. Hey, fellers. Hey. Break this one down for us. Obviously, in the MOAC.
We'll let you break that down later. We're going to cover Clear Fork and Ontario.
You guys want to do that one?
Ontario, one of the other teams that are up there. So right now, highlight-wise, we still have 3 unbeatens in the MOAC, but Bogpin Miller, the athlete from Ohio State, heading down to the Colt Corral. Clear Fork upset, well, kind of an upset of Lexington, Ontario's rival earlier. Can they do it again?
Yeah, much better than a 1-3 record at Clear Fork, and we're going to see these highlights. In Ontario looking to go 5-0 for the 2nd straight season, and the O-Zone was rocking tonight for homecoming. Warriors taking on Clear Fork here, and we're going to start the clips with Mason Sansom, and he's going to throw an interception here once you get to it. To the Ontario defense. Yeah, the Ozone is really excited. So rolling out to the left here, Mason Sansom throws and intercepted by that Ontario defense that basically tells Bodpin Miller, Ohio State commit, the runway is clear on this next play, and he's going to take it 50 yards to the house.
Right down the middle.
And Bodpin Miller, that's just one of 2 touchdowns for him in this game. It just seems effortless for him.
Oh, always. It's crazy how good this kid is.
Yeah, so he takes that touchdown to the house. Another turnover by Clear Fork. The snap over the head. It's collected by the big fella. Dale Morris comes down with it. Then Ontario would score a field goal on that drive. We're jumping all the way to the 2nd quarter here. Spin move by Vantelberg. He waltzes into the end zone, whatever you want to call it. So at this point, it's 17-6 at the half. We're going to go to, the Colts need to pull 6 points back. They get them right there with Sansom. And then in the 3rd quarter, Clear Fork is looking to make this a game. They bring it within a score, 17-14. They would go for 2 here after this touchdown by Jay Jackson. They would get it. 17-14 makes you think, is Clear Fork going to make it a game? Well, Ontario's answer is Mason Vantelberg.
Yeah. Well, we always talk about Bogpin Miller, but Van Tilburg, a very good complementary piece to him.
Yeah, it's simple as that, and I don't know what else to say when you see plays like that. Phenomenal from the running back for Ontario, and Bodpin Miller, just like he started it, is going to put a bow on this
This is not a replay of the first one, right? He did this twice in one night.
Yeah, twice in one night, up the middle, O-line, props to them, and a final score 31-14. And like I said before, Ontario, they're going to go 5-0 for the 2nd time this season, and they're going to play a beat-up Galion Tigers team. Did I give it away a little bit?
Well, no. Somebody could be beat up and still pull off a victory, but before we send it over for that highlight, just Ontario, people thought coming into the season, did they lose too many seniors? Can they do it again with just Bogpin Miller? But like I said, Van Tilburg, very impressive to make that a 1-2 punch to where you can't just focus on Bogpin Miller.
Yeah, because Van Tilburg is just a phenomenal running back, and it takes both of them. In my eyes, a really good team that wants to make a run in the state tournament, you have to have a good quarterback, you have to and then you have to have a second guy. And it can be your running back, it can be a receiver, sometimes you even have a tight end. Think about the Cade Stover teams way back. And he's killing it right now with the Texans, by the way.
Big catch on Sunday night.
So you got to have that second guy, and Van Tilburg fits the mold perfectly.
And then they have a defense that can get things done. But can this defense be good enough to stop either the winner of Shelby and Galion that will be undefeated with them at the end of the night? Let's send it back to Brian Skowronski with the highlights of that. You were trying to hand it off to us. We want to give you the best highlight, Brian.
You guys are too kind. What a game tonight at Unkrich Stadium. At least coming into the game 2 4-0s. Joshua Banks is still with me. He's been saying the Tigers may be the cream of the crop in the MOAC. Shelby, they've been right up there the last several seasons, and they wanted to prove it tonight on the road. We'll show you what happened with the moving pictures. Begin things here with a little swing pass out to Brady Bowman, and look at these moves that he makes through a whole pack of Tigers. He'll go 46 yards. Extra point would be no good, but it is 6-0 Shelby early on in the contest. Later in the first, it is going to be Marcus Gumbert. He'll take it 5 yards to the zone, 2-point conversion, good, and the score now 14-0 Shelby. Barely a minute left in the second quarter. Braden DeVito completes a 7-yard pass to Nick Eister. 2-point try, unsuccessful, but still 20-0 at the half. Galion getting shut out at home, and it's going to be even worse because DeVito takes it 11 yards in. They would add the 2-point conversion, 28-zip. And early in the fourth, DeVito to Michael Shepard, throwing Tigers to the turf. 38 yards, he rumbles. 35-0, a running clock on a 4-0 team at home. Galion would be able to get on the board in the fourth quarter. Braxton connecting to the end zone to the other Prosser. Extra point good, but 35-7. Shelby with a big statement victory tonight. And I think they put everybody on notice that they are way more than just Braden DeVito in this offense, who've been putting up not crazy numbers, but pretty good size, healthy chunk plays throughout the course of the season. We've had them a lot here on this program. But for the Galion Tigers, this is maybe gut check time, playing the best team so far that's been on their schedule. They beat a couple of decent teams so far, but playing under their own lights, Josh Banks. I was a little surprised to see, not necessarily that Shelby came out and won this thing, that they took it to them. They had the running clock going in that second half there late in the game. So for Matt Dick and this club, 4-0 for the second straight season. Definitely sky's not falling by any means out there in Tiger country, but it didn't play quite with the type of energy and effort I think we were all anticipating.
The type of defense that we've seen out of them all year, I think, would be the statement there. They put up 7 points. They're shut out in the first half. They don't score until late in the game. And unfortunately for these Tigers, they're in a situation where the MOAC is very competitive. You still have to play Pleasant. That's your last game of the year, looking at the schedule tonight. You still have to play River Valley. You play Ontario next week. So 3 of the teams that are still in contention for a league title, you still have to play. 4-0 is a great start.
Yeah.
But in this conference, 4-0 could be 4-6 really quick.
We saw Chase Ebert, huge night tonight. Bod Penn Miller, another amazing night. But we got another phenomenon. How about the night for Braden DeVito? Yet again, this junior, he is the total package. He can shake, he can bake, he's got finesse, he can throw it deep. I really love everything that number 2 brings. And now I think a 3-year starter in his junior campaign, he's a leader on the field.
This young man is a special talent that we have here in North Central Ohio, and we get to watch him for one more season next year. And everybody talked about Shelby. They lost too much. Isaiah Ramsey's not there anymore. But these young kids that have stepped up and taken that role, Brady Bowman being one of them with the catch and run he had tonight, they've made that team look like they didn't rebuild. They just replenished. And they're going to be a threat, not only to win the MOAC, but maybe make a nice little run come November.
Yeah, they've been doing that since Coach Mahaney has taken over, and even before that, even with Coach Will getting all the way to regional championship games. But I'm glad that you brought up Bowman and what he was able to do. The first highlight, the first touchdown of the night. I'm going to put that up for a top play of the week nominee. You just look at the moves that he has to create right here, right away. Gets a block. One Tiger, nope. A second Tiger to the ground, and then just the speed, the burner to get by into the end zone. That's how you start a ball game on the road.
That's how you score a touchdown against a good defense, and you outrun the entire defense. I don't think a single Tiger touched him. He just ran right past them.
All right, so the MOAC, obviously, still up for the grabs. Long way to go, but 2 big-time contests that you saw tonight go down. Ontario and Shelby sitting in the driver's seat. Who's going to be in the passenger side car? We're going to find out next week. Ontario and Galion going head-to-head. It's going to be a great game to watch.
Yes, it is.
We're going to step aside and take a quick commercial timeout, but when we come back, we will show you your Week 4 winners for the top play of the week and the Friday Night Phenom. And then we've got a ton of K-Maction coming up. We'll hear from a head coach for a winning team tonight. And then you got to see how the Seneca East Carey game all went down. That's on the other side.
Better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the Mid-Ohio job market, and we're locally owned. So you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at midohiojobs.net or call 419-747-7479.
More than Crown, we are the real people behind Crown CDJR of Dublin. Every member of our sales team is dedicated to providing you an excellent customer experience.
Find the right vehicle for you and your lifestyle. Is a Crown, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram today. The better way to buy.
Instead of paying for some big-name spokesperson, Kasasa Checking gives that money back to you in cash rewards. In fact, you just bought me this cup of coffee. See how that works? Amazing! Free checking, cash rewards. Take back banking with Kasasa.
Welcome to Richland County's first artificial intelligence ATM. And if you car dance to the song you're listening to now, I will give you $50. See, that's something an ATM can never do.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Oh, we're serious.
Gosh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. We hope your day is a little bit better today.
Yes, thank you.
So far tonight on the Friday Night Pigskin, you've seen that Week 5 has been full of some crazy offensive outputs. Last week, the defenses really shined. We put out a bunch of nominees for the top play in the Phenominees of the week, and this is who you decided was the absolute best. Your top play winner? How fitting that a guy with the name House would take it to the house. It's Centerburg's Tommy House making the 42-yard house call as the Trojans nearly come from behind to upset Northmor. This one of the biggest plays of the night as he reads the pass, picks off A.J. Bauer, and he scoots back all the way for a Trojan tutty. I mentioned that defense was the name of the game in week number 4, so we had to have a defender come out on top. Zach Saley was an absolute game wrecker for the Galion Tigers on the road at the Colt Corral. I mean, this dude left his mark all over the field, special teams, and as a defensive end. 5 tackles for loss. He blocked not 1, but 2 punts. Dude had a sack and then 12 solo tackles. He was hustling all over the field. Very worthy of being the best performance that I've seen for a defender all season long. That's why he is your Week 4 Friday Night Phenom. So congratulations to both of those winners right there, and I love seeing the defenders get the love that they deserve. And one team in this next matchup played a lot of defense tonight over at the Castle. That's where Travis Berardi was at for a huge showdown between the top 2 contenders, the heavyweights in the league.
Yeah, this last year, determined pretty much the KMAC champion in Danville, up at Danville. Northmor gave them a shot, but an onside kick, a fake punt, and Danville was able to win it, and they went on to win the KMAC. Northmor looking for some revenge. They flipped the script so far this year, 4-0, coming into there against Danville. Their one loss to a Hopewell Loudon team that is very, very good. So you got to think this is going to be another one of those battles. But it wasn't. It wasn't. Let's just get right to the highlights. First, we're going to go to Loudonville, so take that.
So speaking of blowouts, this one was pretty much a similar story. So we're going to talk about Loudonville and Centerburg, and starting things off is Blaine Ball running 24 yards for a touchdown for Centerburg, a team looking to bounce back after their tough loss to Northmor
they
last
put up a
week.
fight.
Yeah, and this was the story for Loudonville at the start of the game. First 2 plays from scrimmage for their offense, fumble, fumble. You'll see the second one here after this touchdown pass. Ball to Harris. Harris says, I'm tall, you're too small. We're going to score again, and we're going to see Loudonville on offense again, and we're going to see them fumble again. And the recovery by Tommy House gets a fumble recovery after the pick 6 last week, and he puts Centerburg in great field position. And look at this play by Miles Marshall. Thought he was dead in the water at the 10. He finds himself in the end zone somehow. So he's able to score. That's his first of 3 touchdowns in this one. You're going to see the next one here soon, and by soon I mean right now. Bodpin Miller style, going up the middle and breaking free and spoiling Loudonville's homecoming with a big touchdown. So 29-0 would be the first quarter score. We jump to the second, and faking out our cameraman, Blaine Ball with a beautiful option play. He decides to keep it, takes it to the house, and one of the first plays of the second quarter goes Centerburg's way, as has pretty much this entire game. Marshall scores in the third on a running clock, which is 4 minutes to go there. But Loudonville with some promise at the end. We got to give them their props. Dylan Wade gets in there to the end zone and scores to make it 42-7. And I want to show some love to the freshmen as well. A bunch of them came in and put together a solid final drive and really showed the future of this Loudonville Redbird program. You saw 2 connections there from 2 stud freshmen that you'll be hearing a lot of later on in their Loudonville careers. But the story, Centerburg 42, Loudonville 7.
And you know, that's a good sight to see with these younger players, because first year at Loudonville, head coach Ed Honeberger, the legend from Danville, took them to multi-regional championships, Final Fours. He left, came back now at Loudonville, is trying to turn them around. So seeing him giving these younger players a chance and seeing them show out, this could be the future of Loudonville football.
And it's interesting because they have the smallest roster in the KMAC, and I think it's by a pretty significant margin. It gives the chance for some of these younger guys to get involved, and you're seeing that in all of these games. So Loudonville, it's a tough loss to Centerburg, but that's a really good Centerburg Trojan team. So you can't really be mad about that. And
after last week, the effort that they showed against Northmor, where, yeah, it was the right call. We talked about that enough last week, but they didn't let that, hurt them. They came right back, foot on the gas, got a big win against Loudonville, and now they're trying to fight for that number 2 spot, and maybe if somebody upsets Northmor, maybe a co-KMAC championship for Centerburg.
Yeah, so to wrap this up with Loudonville, fun fact, this is actually the 3rd game this season that they have lost by the exact score of 42-7.
Hopefully that's the last time.
Yeah, hopefully the last time
as well. We don't want any KMAC squads losing that many times, 42-7. So hopefully they keep learning and getting better, and they get some wins down the line. Now to that game Brian was so excited for me to call about, Northmor Danville. Like I said, this was the game that decided pretty much the KMAC last year in Week 5 at Danville. This time it's at Northmor. This time Northmor 4-0, ranked number 8 in the AP poll in Division 6. Danville, like I said, good Hopewell Loudon team. Always a good squad. Lost 12-8 to them. So was it going to be a battle? Everybody thought it was going to be a battle. It wasn't a battle. So let's now go to the highlights. Military Appreciation Night at the Castle, and the Golden Knights sure put on a show for them. Flags and all. Love the patriotism, and I love the offense. 2 minutes into the game, A.J. Bauer goes down the right sideline to a man I like to call Big Play Bo. Bo Landon, 47 yards, and just like that, 7-0 Golden Knights 2 minutes in. Later in the quarter, after the teams exchanged possessions, the offensive Swiss Army knife that is Cohen Becker takes the swing pass and just outruns the Danville secondary, 25 yards. Yeah, just nuts. 14-zip. Start of the second, and a familiar name has entered the chat. Jack Swenger, cleared yesterday afternoon after recovering from appendectomy, has not lost a single step, climbs the ladder, and then get off me! 67 yards. It is 20-0. Golden Knights. Then moments later, Cohen Becker once again running the same route you saw to give them the lead against Centerburg late in that game. Watch the speed afterwards. It's just unbelievable. He is gone. No one gonna catch him. You get a big play. You get a big play. Brian gets a big play. Everybody gets big plays from Northmor. They get a statement win.
Thank you, Cohen Becker.
41-6. Yes, you get a big play too. But I don't think anybody was expecting this type of game from the Golden Knights in Danville. You thought it was going to be a battle. Northmor probably favored with what they had, but they just blew out the Blue Devils, which is a very good team, the KMAC.
Yeah, and I haven't seen Danville play yet this season, but I have seen Northmor play, and I could tell just by how they looked last week against Centerburg. There were some situations in that game where Northmor made mistakes and it gave momentum to Centerburg's way. But by the way that you're sounding in this game, there were no sort of momentum breaks for Danville's side, and Northmor just kept running full steam ahead.
Yeah. Now in the first quarter, in the middle of it, between the first and second touchdowns for Northmor, they were back deep because of it wasn't a muff kick, but two of the return guys let it go down to the 10-yard line. They got backed up, but A.J. Bauer kind of with a interception punt. That was the only blemish pretty much on him for the day. But other than that, they were just phenomenal playing defensively against Danville. They held Aiden Burke, last week's MVP against Mount Gilead. They only held him to 42 rushing yards on 14 carries. That rush attack, they might have got 1 or 2 6 or 7 yard carries, but other than that, the defense was great as well. But let's talk a little bit more about A.J. Bauer, the quarterback. You saw what he was able to do. Other than that one interception last week, he was able to be phenomenal, and he is my fee nominee for this week as well. Bauer only, once again, 1/2 of play only needed to do this. 14 of 17.
Yeah.
323, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception, which was pretty much a punt as well that the defense helped flip the field. But A.J. Bauer, once again, and now that he has all of his pieces to use again, you have Jack Swenger, who makes this great catch and takes it to the house. Big play, Bo Landon. And then you have Cohen Becker, too, that has shined on both the rushing end and the receiving end. A.J. Bauer just has everybody. A.J. Bauer, in 5 games, already over 1,000 yards passing.
Yeah, it's just a Bauer masterclass. And now that he has all of his weapons, it's just going to get even better for this Northmor offense. And we saw that against a tough Danville team that everyone thought was going to win the KMAC this year, media-wise. Maybe not Travis Berardi over here. But Northmor able to get that big win. But I want to ask you one quick thing. So do you think this was more of a Northmor dominance, or Danville kind of just getting a little disappointing from them?
I think it was Danville does not have the passing game or the secondary quite yet to stick with Northmor this year. Northmor has those huge pieces last year. Danville was able to, because they did have pieces in the secondary. They did have a running attack that could complement things like that. But this year, they graduated some of those big guys, and they're still learning. They did get a bit of a passing attack. They ended up finishing with 83 yards passing, which is one of the most they've had this season. So if they can continue to do that, they can open things up for the run game. But right now, that in the secondary, it's going to be tough. But again, in the KMAC, I think the only other 2 teams, it's going to be Devil Dog with East Knox in Week 10, and then Centerburg are those 2 teams that have the balance. Everybody else has that rushing attack that Danville can just pound and ground against you. So we'll see. I still think Danville, they have a very favorable region as well in Division 7. So it could be a very good season for the Devils if they can really continue to get things going.
We could very well be seeing an evolution of the KMAC where a bunch of teams are going to have to start passing the ball now.
Yeah, and like for East Knox, they got Jack Swenger back. We'll see if he can help them because they get Northmor in 2 weeks. Speaking of running, let's send it back over to Brian Skowronski because he has the RPO, the Kings of the RPO. Yes, run people over the Lucas Cubs in their big win against Willard. Take it, Ski.
Yeah, they accumulated 1 passing yard tonight, Travis, and almost had 500 yards of total offense. So you really got to appreciate the RPO. It never goes out of style down at Bob Wide Field. And since we had kind of KMAC country going on here, let's welcome in one of the former Kings out there and the newest member of the KMAC, the Prince of Loudonville, the one, the only, Zach Truax here to join me tonight. And real quick, before we get into the highlights, your Birds, baby, 0-5. What is going on out there? I thought they were going to have this resurgence with the new coach.
It's going to take a couple years, Brian. It's going to take a couple years. They've got a really strong freshman class. They've got a really strong middle school team coming through. So it's going to take a couple years. You need at least 2 cycles in the weight room, I think, to build what you want to build. Now, the coach down there, he has all the support he'll ever need. He has all the facilities he'll ever need. So he's in a good spot. The expectations are always high in Loudonville. Competing at KMAC's always tough. People need to bite their tongue though when they start talking about becoming a pass-happy offense in the KMAC though, man. You better be able to run the ball.
Hey, baby, I know that in Ed we trust. Honnenberger is going to get that program turned around, but it could take a couple of seasons, so trust the process. Okay, that's what they're doing down in Lucas. They had Scott Spittler there for 15 years. Now with Jimmy Sweat taking over, they have not detoured from what has got them to where they've been in the postseason, double-digit years now, Zach. They had Willard coming over to their place tonight. Let's hit these highlights and take me through how it all went down tonight in the Lucas Valley. But the flashes, how about getting on the board first?
Yeah, I really thought, when I called this game, I thought, okay, I saw the statistics from Willard, and they're going to pass the ball, come out with a jet sweep to Paxton Flores there, takes it to house 86 yards. And then Lucas just went on a tear. They stole 3 possessions. This is right after, I think, probably an onside kick, and there's the player of the game, Giegold. He had a huge game. And here's the onside kick. Love this coverage by Weitzel here.
Wow.
Gets 10 yards, turns around and fields it like a shortstop. Stole a possession here. Obviously, take it right down, score. I like how they use Hawkins Smith out of a tailback spot tonight, too. I hadn't seen that much out of Lucas. And then here you go. Another pitch to Giegold off the right side, running people over, leaving them in his wake. And I talked a lot about it in the game. Another pitch here to Hawkins Smith up the middle. It's like you watch the same play over and over again. They just pound you in submission. They're blocking to the echo of the whistle. Was really impressed with Willard's quarterback. Tough kid, gritty. Flores is tough. They played hard all night, but Lucas just too much.
Yeah, they were still in it after that touchdown. It's 21-13, but I feel like this is kind of where the runaway freight train got moving. Hawkins Smith, huge night for him. Giegold was an absolute mutant too.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Giegold all night, but Hawkins Smith and it was Finello, and then also their other tailback had a really big game.
Yeah, Hawkins Smith, I'm trying to count him up here. What, a 4-pack of tutties for him tonight. But you're right. Paxton Flores, he found the end zone a few times. So for Willard, even the loss on the road, some bright spots for him. They've got something going. Yeah. Ooh, and how about that?
How about that? What they had a name for that moon. I forget the name. They called it the blood moon.
The Waney Gibbous.
What was that again?
The Waney Gibbous. Come on, Zach. That's like common knowledge, bud.
The waning Gibbous moon, yeah. That's
Thank you,
what
Google.
we were reduced to in the fourth quarter, the waning Gibbous moon.
Yeah, here we got, more Hawkins Smith action, I think.
Hawkins Smith action. Some of the younger guys got in on it. Gross had a nice couple carries towards the end. So a little bit of a glimpse in the future, what's in store for Lucas. The Nomads, the Lucas. They should change the name from the Cubs to the Lucas Nomads, being without a conference.
Yeah, they'll have to go any place, anytime, anywhere. That's kind of been the Lucas mantra here for the last several seasons since they've been conference-less. But no one will take them in, Zach. I mean, this is a punishing team on the football field that we've seen the run that they've had in the RPO style. It's just different from any other squad that we have in the area. Minus Marion Elgin will line up and run very similar fashion of offense, but It's just hard to prepare for because not many teams are still utilizing that double wing set.
The wing set, what you have to do is you have to play assignment football. You can't follow the football. You have to kind of unlearn everything you know about defense when you play that wing tee. And you have to play assignment football. This is my area. I'm going to tackle anyone that comes in my area. And in the second half, Willard really did that. But it was too little too late by that point. And even then, when they were playing decent defense, Lucas was just running through them, going for it on 4th and short, getting the conversions. And like I said, I love the way the Lucas linemen block downfield. They don't stop blocking. The running back could be 20 yards downfield, but the Lucas linemen are still blocking and getting those pancakes. It's going to be they should call them the Breakfast Club over there. All
I love
the
it.
pancakes.
Well, they get 3 of their last 5 at home. I do like that because Bob Wine Field, that's a tough place to go play. They got the fireworks popping off, just an unbelievable atmosphere. The entire town crowds in around there on the hillside to take in that action. But I think there's been a little bit of chatter after kind of the slow start. They lose to Hillsdale, didn't look very good. I saw them with my own eyes, and they certainly got outplayed in that game. Falcons, though, are 5-0. They lose again the next week at Smithville, a team 4-1 now, so 2 pretty solid teams, 9-1 overall. But I've been hearing a little bit of talk like maybe the Cubs are going to fall off here in Jimmy Sweat's first season. This is your first time seeing him in person, though, this year, Zach. What do you feel like the expectations should be for them coming up the next 5? They've got Calvert on the road, then they get Amanda Clear Creek, and then they get 3 teams below 500 after that.
Yeah, they're a playoff team. I really believe that. And when they get in the playoffs, they're going to be a tough out because they play solid defense up front. They were getting pressure with 3 guys tonight. And it really wasn't even 3 guys. It was 1 guy. It was Hawkins Smith with a game wrecker from his defensive end spot. But if they can get that defensive backfield to grow up a little bit more, play a little stickier in the defensive backfield, and keep running the ball, they're going to be a real tough out in the playoffs. I wouldn't want to. If I had a small school team, I certainly would not want to face them. Coach Sweat in his first year. He's been with that program for 10 years as an assistant and a coordinator, really called a masterful game. One thing I thought that Lucas did really well, specifically the coaching staff, was they did what I call self-scouting. I came into this game and I said, look for Hawking Smith up the middle with punishing runs. And they obviously saw that too, and they went right to that pitch run they run with Giegold off the side, and then they had that little joker run where they pitch it to Giegold, and he hands it off to the other wing back coming the other way. It looks like a reverse, but they call it a joker. And so great job self-scouting by the Lucas coaching staff. And then, kicking the onside kick, stealing a possession, great clock management in the first half. They score with 1 minute left, gives Willard no time to do anything with the football. Well, they did. They got it down to about the 20, but they ran out of time. And then they got the ball back in the second half. So really well coached team. They hit to the whistle, and they're very, very disciplined, and they have great fundamentals. So I wouldn't want to play them if I was in the playoffs as a small school team, that's for sure.
Yeah, back-to-back wins for the Cubs, and I talked about the venue and how cool it is to take in a game there, but they also have something that's very uncommon, at least for the media folk. You got to play in a tree house tonight, a place that I'm very familiar with, so that means that you're not just dealing with the open air. I mean, there's going to be bugs coming in there. You hear the roosters, they're off in the background making a bunch of noise. Sometimes the cows are trying to come through and come home. So if you can just give the folks at home a little bit of an idea of what it was like your first experience in the treehouse.
It was beautiful. It wasn't a stuffy press box like I'm used to. Plenty of air. I could be as loud as I wanted to be. I could move around as much as I wanted to move around. Now, when I did move around a lot, I shook the whole treehouse because the posts are in the ground. They're in like the cement mollies on the ground, so that was a little sketchy. They have an old rickety ladder. That's how you get up to it. So I'm pretty sure I was about 20 pounds over the weight limit on that ladder, but we made it up anyways. And just all joking aside, a really beautiful place to watch a game. I know a lot of people from Lucas. My son played travel baseball with the Finellos. They have a son that came through that Lucas program in the prior, and then they have a son playing now. So got to see them, got to see the Toms. I know all those folks, have a lot of respect for them. Get along with them real well. I love ribbing them a little bit, but fun place to watch the game. I was teased them a little bit. They got the fireworks going off, and there's a guy who's run the fireworks remotely from his phone right in front of me. And I said they're going to start passing around a hat to take up a collection for the fireworks fund because they're going to run out of money. Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was controlling the fireworks from his phone. And I said they're going to start running out of ordnance, start setting off bottle rockets every time they score.
Yeah, until you get a text and you try to go to respond and you accidentally start popping them off right in the middle of a play or something. But hey, that's the beauty of a small school football out there in the Lucas Valley. They do it their way, and they did it tonight. Zach, appreciate you calling in, man, and filling us in on the RPO, baby. Have a good night. Enjoy the weekend.
Run people over, and it should be pancakes all night.
Just serving them.
Oh, those! If you get a chance to watch the game, really focus in on the offensive linemen and how they block downfield, and the running backs 20 yards downfield, and they're still blocking and pancaking, planting people. It was great.
It's a thing of beauty, buddy. I think I'm gonna have to hit the IHOP after the show. So, thanks, Zach.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we got another special guest on the line, but before we get to him, we got to get to a big-time game tonight. The 3-time defending Northern 10 Conference champions, 1-0 in the league, and they were playing at home tonight. My good buddy Shane Young seen it go down, had Seneca East over at their place. So on paper, I think a lot of folks were calling for a mismatch, and Carey to do what they've been doing the last few years, maybe a little bit shaky in the non-conference, but then they get it together in the N10.
Yeah, watching this game, I don't think, most people expected Carey to come in here and absolutely dominate. But I'm going to be honest with you, Brian. I am so excited to watch these clips again that I'm already ready to get these clips rolling.
Don't make the man wait. Moving pictures. Moving pictures.
So we're going to start off the game with a Beamer, little 2-yard run straight in the end zone. Seneca's going to score first, 7-0. But Carey's going to answer right back.
Okay.
With this next play. Eli Steen running in a little goal line, 1-yard touchdown. It is 7-7. We got a tie ball game. Now, with this next play, Eli Steen is the man in Carey.
Clearly.
Yeah, he's going to take this for a 39-yard touchdown. And Brian, we got a 14-7 game. It looks like now we're like, oh man, Carey might start running away with this.
That's right.
But the man Nicholas Steen is going to run it in for a little 2-yard
touchdown.
Oh,
what was that too?
Little hop over the defenders. And now Bose on this next play kind of tricked me out a little bit. I didn't expect this, but he's going to take it 10 yards, and Carey goes up 21-14. But next, you're going to see Nicholas throw a dime down the field to Taylor Young to answer right back in a one-play drive to make this score 21-14. Carey will end up taking a field goal to end the half. It's 24-21. Carey then on their first drive, which was a very long drive, they're going to come out with another trick play toss out to the edge. They're going to go up 31-21. And now this is where things kind of start like Seneca, what's going on? We're going to throw a nice little seam up the middle.
Okay.
It is 27-31. They missed their PAT. And here we go. This was kind of like what just happened. Into the game, they throw it up there on 4th and 2. And
Your
Taylor
cousin.
Young, he might be my cousin. I don't know. But he's going to clearly end this game. I was so shocked to see Seneca come back because most people didn't really expect Seneca to beat Carey. I mean, the last time that Seneca beat Carey was 2018. 6 years ago was the last time the Seneca East Tigers beat the Carey Blue Devils.
That's like a third of a lifetime for some of us here on set right now.
Maybe. Don't ask me, though. It's totally not me. Anyways, so I got to cut to the chase. My phenomenee is going to be Nicholas Parks, number 13. This kid was electric. 392 all-purpose yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing.
And did I forget to mention that he had basically the game-sealing interception? So not only is he scoring almost all the points, but he's also ending the game to seal his team the first win against Carey in 6 years. So this means, you know, Seneca East is going to move to 3-2, 2-0 in the conference. Carey 1-4. Whoa. I don't think I've seen Carey 1-4 in quite some time, but still a lot of season left to go.
I would guarantee in your lifetime you've never seen Carey 1-4, and I'll have to check the record books. This is such a proud program. They maybe have never been in this position ever. I'm gonna have to find out. I'll check with some of my newspaper friends and see if they've got that stat. The good news for them, though, is they got your Winford Royals next up on the docket, so you would imagine it's going to be bounce-back season. I saw Seneca East in week 1. Now, granted, it was against a Crestview squad that just got their first win tonight. Really impressed with Parks, loved him, and then Taylor Young, your cousin, doing some big things in that game.
He might be my cousin.
There's got to be some type of connection there.
Something.
He might be a little bit faster than you. We'd have to see that in a foot race.
If he is my cousin, he got the good genetics, though, because I was an offensive lineman. He's out here making plays as a receiver. I wish I could have done that. But
that 1-2 connection had me feeling very excited, though, about the prospect, though, of Seneca East. Now above 500, 3-2. So moving forward, I'll put you on the spot here. Who do you feel like will end up finishing better in the conference standings when it's all said and done in the N10?
You know, it could either be, to me, it's Mohawk or Seneca East at this point after seeing Mohawk absolutely dominate Crawford last week. I mean, I was surprised by that. And to see Seneca come out here and beat Carey, this might be either Seneca East or Mohawk's division conference this year, which we haven't seen in quite some time. Now, I'm excited for the Seneca team. Seeing what Taylor Young could do tonight.
Yeah.
You know, my cousin, whatever you want to call him. But Nicholas Parks is definitely the man in Tiger
Big
Country.
night. Yeah, that's cool. And the game-winning pick, too. So after they get Winford and Buckeye Central for Carey, you imagine them to get them, then Crawford and Mohawk in back-to-back weeks. Coming up here for Seneca East. Upper Sandusky, an interesting game, then they'll get Colonel Crawford. So those two are going to be really big ones. They save Mohawk, though, for week 10. Could be for all the marbles. That'd be pretty fun.
It might be for all the marbles. You know, I'm excited to see what happens in the N10 this year for sure.
All right, thanks, Shane. A game tonight that we felt like was kind of for all the marbles within a conference. The head coach for the winning team of the Northmor Golden Knights now is on the phone with us. Scott Armos hanging out. And Scott, thanks for peeling away from the party. I imagine there's got to be some fangs going down in North Bloomfield Township tonight.
Yeah, it's starting to wind down a little bit right now, but yeah, it was a pretty exciting night for us.
Well, things winding down there, but your season, boy, it has been ratcheted up from the get-go. 5-0 to start things off. Just how excited are you with what your team has been able to accomplish now, knocking off some pretty good football teams along the way?
Yeah, we're really excited with the way we played, the way we started our season, and the way we've just improved every week. That's been our focus. Just get better, just keep getting better, keep improving, and focus on us, not our opponent. That's what we've done.
Tonight, obviously a huge one at your place, Danville. They've been the kings of the league the last couple of years. So for you guys not to just pull out a win at home, but to do it in the fashion that you were able to, Coach, pinpoint for me, kind of dissect what you think really felt right for you in terms of game plan and execution.
Yeah, just being able to take what they give us, and they kept a packed box all night, and rather than beat our heads up against a brick wall and try to run the ball, we just threw it over the top because that's what they gave us. So.
A.J. Bauer up for Phenom again this week. It seems like every single time that guy steps out onto a football field, he's making big-time throws and a lot of weapons for him, too. I want to ask about Jack Swanger. He's been out since week 1. What type of spark did this senior bring to your guys' ball club tonight?
Quite a spark. Jax is a big part of what we do, and he was a big part of our offseason, and he's worked his butt off, and we're really excited for him to be able to be back on the field tonight.
So looking forward, Coach, you're going to go on the road for your next 2, Fredericktown and East Knox. So you got to leave the castle and go try to dominate at some other places. So, 3 really tough games in a row. You're going to learn a lot about your team during this stretch. Just, do you feel like coming into the season that you had the goods, you had what it took to be the top dogs and the leaders in the K-MAC?
Our goal is to have what it takes each week. And right now our focus is on Fredericktown getting ready for that game, and we're ready to get to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure you're looking forward to that, Coach, but definitely you got to enjoy this one. Huge win tonight over Danville. I think it really impressed everybody here at the OH Report. We were kind of branding this as, you know, the game that might shake things out and the winner would go on to win the league. So you took a big step tonight, Coach. Congratulations, and appreciate the time and the call-in.
Hey, thanks, guys, for all your coverage. We appreciate it.
Our pleasure. All right, guys, we're going to take one more time out, and just when you thought, oh, maybe you're going to shut things down, we're going to party when we come back. See you in a minute.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the Mid-Ohio job market, and we're locally owned. So you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at midohiojobs.net or call 419-747-7479.
More than Crown, we are the real people behind Crown CDJR of Dublin. Every member of our sales team is dedicated to providing you an excellent customer experience.
Find the right vehicle for you and your lifestyle is a Crown Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram today, the better way to buy.
Instead of paying for some big-name spokesperson, Kasasa Checking gives that money back to you in cash rewards. In fact, you just bought me this cup of coffee. See how that works? Amazing! Free checking, cash rewards. Take back banking with Kasasa.
Welcome to Richland County's first artificial intelligence ATM. And if you car dance to the song you're listening to now, I will give you $50. See, that's something an ATM can never do.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Oh, we're serious.
Gosh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. We hope your day is a little bit better today.
Yes, thank you.
All right, I'm still waiting for the confetti to show up, but hey, let's get the good vibes going here tonight. That's right, fill up the champagne, and let's bring on the party, the Jardy party. We'll throw it up to the shores of Lake Erie and bring in my buddy, Andrew Jardy. We got a chance to hang out tonight. Good times, baby. A lot of big games tonight.
A lot of good games tonight. Yeah, long time no see. We had a great game on hand that you and I got to witness tonight, arguably maybe the game of the year so far between Dalton and Hillsdale. A lot of fun, a lot of great stuff tonight. I had to narrow it down. There were so many things that happened in Ohio high school football tonight, but I tried to keep the list brief, but there's quite a bit to get to tonight.
Okay. Yeah, let's fill me in on some of the things to note in and around the Buckeye State. What's been going down that we missed?
Well, we have to start every week with Marion Local winning another game. So their streak has now reached 53 wins. A little bit closer tonight, 48-7 in their win over New Bremen. So
got tested.
Yeah,
okay.
It's getting closer here. Shout out to Coach Ryan Carter of Clyde. Picked up career win number 100 as the head football coach at Clyde. He also has 100 wins as the head coach of the basketball team as well, too. So how about that? He's got into 2 sports. You don't see that too often, do you? Carey, 27-game conference winning streak over after the loss to Seneca East tonight. I can't remember a time they were ever 1-4, Brian. I know we were trying to figure that out earlier in the show, but this has been uncharted territory for the Blue Devils this season. I know one thing we were talking about, we were very high on Galion, a couple of us here at the OH Report. I was shocked how badly they lost to Shelby. Silly me for thinking that maybe Shelby would be down, or not down, but maybe not as dominant as recent years. But man, did they go on the road and just handle business against Galion to remind everyone that, you know, they're going to be in this thing all season. Mansfield Senior gets their first win of the season tonight in overtime, thrilling fashion, winning at New Philly 20-19. Norwalk St. Paul, they might be back on track. Second straight win tonight. They win 34-0. And we've got a couple teams still undefeated in the area now. Northmor, Shelby, Ontario, Hillsdale, Ashland, and Monroeville are all 5-0.
Yeah, so not a ton of teams still sitting there with that goose egg in the loss column, but everything that Jardy just broke down for you fellas, we still got Jonathan and Berardi burning the midnight oil with us.
Hello.
You know, some pretty cool things going on out there, but in our own backyard, those 5-0 teams, man. One last chance to give a shout out to your Golden Knights. You think that the best of the crop, Trav? Number one?
I mean, even AP voters around the state put them at number 8. Now they're going to see them defeat the back-to-back regional runners-up in D7 handedly. I think they'll shoot up maybe a top 5 team in D6 if they see. But the bad thing is the number 1 team is a team named Kirtland.
Oh, yeah.
Also, another team, Hillsdale, as well, I think in Division 7. Marion Locals right there. But, I mean, Hillsdale, what a win for the Falcons. The Golden Knights had a big win, but what a win for the Hillsdale Falcons, because I know the vibe around Hillsdale this week is, hey, we're good, but we've never been able to get over the hump that is Norwayne and Dalton. Well, check off the list now. Yep. I mean, Trevor Klein and his squad, they got some players there. Monroeville, look at them. They might be the front runners. St. Paul, 2-0 in conference right now, but Monroeville, they've got some players too. 2-3 right now in Joe Idle in that region. Hillsdale, Monroeville. What a matchup there. That'd be something worth watching. And then you got Shelby doing Shelby things. Ontario, they're going to be probably headbutting for that number 1 spot. And then Ashland,
your Ashland Arrows, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, they just had their Cleveland Browns game of the week against Maple Heights tonight.
And
so I thought that was pretty cool.
Bernhard had a big game once again. So, yeah, we got a lot of great teams in multiple divisions this year that, hey, we may be busy through October and into November because these teams, if they keep doing what they're doing, I don't see many teams stopping them until you get to like a Marion Local or a Kirtland, something like that.
So a lot of our area teams doing well, but how about the individual nods that you want to give? Let's dive inside of Andy's Dandies.
Yes, let's get into Andy's Dandies, shall we? We'll start things off up here. Sandusky's Amir Aaron had 4 touchdowns, including a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in Sandusky's win over Vermilion, so he is my first Andy's Dandy. Then we're going to go to East Knox, where Blake Elliott unofficially had 304 yards tonight. He had 302 last week, so if my math is correct, that's somewhat over 600 yards in 2 games. That is unbelievable. That is just ridiculous, the amount of yards he's racking up. Shout out to the Lucas Cubs offense. They racked up almost 400 yards rushing in the win over Willard tonight. And then I'm going to go to our game, Brian, for 2 dandies here. Actually 3. Hillsdale's Owen Sloan, 24 carries, 168 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then I'm going back to the halftime performances, the 2 marching bands, Dalton and Hillsdale.
Yes.
Dalton did a 90s themed marching band performance. It was fantastic. They did a great cover of The Offspring's Pretty Fly for a White Guy. And Hillsdale marching band with their pop punk performance did a Know Your Enemy performance by Green Day. Top notch. Fantastic job by the marching bands tonight.
I've never seen you up in the press box like getting down quite in the fashion you did. You actually even videoed them, that way you could have the memories to take back with you for a lifetime, Andy. So
let's not forget you singing along to some My Chemical Romance. When I was
dude, they had some bangers tonight.
Oh,
it was fantastic. It was so good.
Maybe I do need to get the Hillsdale just for the halftime performance. I mean,
so good.
Those are some bangers.
It felt like it was tailor-made for me and Andy to be in the building tonight.
Oh, yeah.
They were expecting us, I think, and they put on a show. So I'm really glad that you gave some love, a nod to the marching bands. And Owen Sloan, not even our player of the game or the Phenom nominee. How do you go for $170 and 3 scores when your teammate's that good and you can't even get the final interview? It's crazy.
Yeah, there were so many. We talked about this all night. Like, the amount of talent on the field in that game tonight was just insane. And, like, good luck trying to stop anybody. Like, I kept comparing it to whack-a-mole. It's like, oh, you might get that guy, but then the other one's going to pop up and go for a touchdown on you. We saw it all night. Just an incredible game.
All right, so we're only a couple weeks into the conference play, but let's see how things are starting to shake out. Let's begin with the MOAC. We've been saving them for last, but now we've got a little bit more defined picture. Ontario and Shelby sitting at the tippy top. And the Tigers, I'm sure there's not a player on that team that's not still sitting up right now at the foot of their bed wondering what happened tonight. How did we allow a running clock get initiated at our place against Shelby? It looks like the Whippets might be the favorite, but Ontario might have the best player.
Yeah, it's I'm just shocked by how Shelby was able to just have their way with Galion tonight. I thought at least that game would be close. And now that's one loss. I know Travis asked us under 1.5 losses for the MOAC winner. I took the under, and now I'm starting to sweat a little bit here. So we'll see what happens. Eventually someone had to lose, though, when these three would play each other. But this is shaping up to be really fun. Two-headed race, potentially still three-headed race. Galion's got to get some things figured out, though, obviously, after tonight's tough loss at home.
And definitely a little surprise, too. We talked about the parity and how deep we thought the league was going to be. 3 of these squads with just a win so far. Definitely, I did not anticipate that, certainly from Harding. I thought that they had a lot of horses this year, specifically on offense, that they'd be able to compete. And then Highland, too. Clear Fork with a tough schedule at the beginning of the season, and now they come out of the gates and they have to play some of the top contenders in the league right away. So a little bit of a shaky start for those 3 clubs. I would say something that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, definitely didn't see it coming. We might be starting to see signs, though, of Clear Fork maybe starting to figure some things out. I mean, this game was a 4-point game with Ontario tonight, so they showed a little bit of fight. Maybe they're starting to figure some things out a little bit, but might still be a year away.
All right, let's dive into those OCC standings now, where there is one undefeated, and that's it. Ashland is 5-0. However, West Holmes has played a pair of OCC games, so they are alone on the top of the mountain looking down on everybody else after getting a victory tonight, but a hard-fought victory for them to leave with a victory. So what do you make of this mess here, Andy? Lexington, obviously, back-to-back wins for them. Did not look good in a couple of their early season games. Madison's been competitive. The Tigers, a lot of people's pick to win the league, and they need overtime to get their first win. Untangle this big web and this mess of yarn.
You've summed it up perfectly. It's a mess. I don't quite know what to make of it. I think Ashland is the team to beat out of this. Maybe Mansfield Senior finally getting a win here tonight gets them on track in a way that we saw Norwalk St. Paul start to get their season on track. They played a tough non-conference schedule, so maybe that benefits them now here as they get into OCC play, but I think it's Ashland's to lose, and everyone else is, I don't know. This has been a very strange conference. I'm not used to seeing the OCC this down, but yeah, I'm going with the Arrows.
Yep. Yeah, that was my preseason pick, and if you look at my bet slips in the DraftKings, you know that I have not been good at predicting things so far this year. I might just get one right. In the Northern 10 Conference, Carey losing tonight, I think really shakes up everything, and Mohawk, I'm going to have to go and check the media polls and see where the Warriors really felt like they were going to be, but I don't remember them being like a team that was solidified certainly in the top 3. Everyone had Colonel Crawford and Carey as the top dogs, and how about that? It's the Warriors in Seneca East sitting on the throne.
Nothing makes sense anymore. That's really what I've just come to understand. As much as we think we know nothing. And so this is what it appears to be in the N10 this year. I mean, Mohawk is having an incredible year. The way that they went in and dominated Colonel Crawford last week really stands out to me, and I think they're the team to beat here in the N10. Carey, we thought maybe was starting to find it again after getting a win, but man, that's a tough loss to Seneca East tonight, and it just looks like they just don't quite have that it factor this year. So maybe it's Mohawks to lose. We'll just have to wait and see halfway through.
I got to give some credit to Adam Thompson. At the media show we did at WQEL, we asked in the Northern 10, who could be 2-3 dark horses? And everybody said Mohawk and Seneca East. I said if it wasn't Crawford, if it wasn't Carey, that could somehow get some upsets and win the conference, who would it be? Mohawk and Seneca East. So maybe some of these guys knew what they were talking about. I had them 3-4. I thought it would be Crawford and Carey at the top, but then 3 and 4 was going to be Mohawk and Seneca East.
That's kind of what I remember, because I watched that, and I remember they were talking about Mohawk, and they got a lot of experience on that team, and we're seeing that age out in the N10, taking down Carey, putting them to 1-4, really taking them out of this conversation for now, but we'll see how it ends up, because
there's still a lot to play.
Just like the MOAC, it could very well be another over-under 1.5 to win the N10.
Maybe I'm rooting for a 4-way tie for the championship, Ski. I don't know.
Wow.
Something tells me the Devils aren't done just yet. The way that they lost tonight, blowing that double-digit lead late in the fourth quarter, very uncharacteristic of them, especially at home. So look for Carey to play with a lot of pride. I anticipate them maybe finishing with 5 or 6 wins at the end of this whole thing. They might run the table. That's what they've been doing here lately. 27 straight in the N10, and back to square one now. All right, the KMAC, where we saw Northmor tonight, they won the biggest game arguably of the night outside of Hillsdale in that classic that Andy and I brought in. So this was our thought process basically all season long, is that Northmor, at least Travis and I, we felt like they had the best roster. And then Danville, East Knox would be the next couple of contenders. The Freddies, though, they've showed a lot of heart and some fight. They win a classic against Mount Gilead tonight, and you cannot count them out. This should be a pretty good race here over these next few weeks.
I think we can make a projection here. We've got enough votes in, outstanding votes in. It's over. We can call this one.
Lock it up.
It's Northmor's. It's over. It's done. I'm on the record. I'm sold. I thought tonight was the test. I think their win over Centerburg last week in the fashion that they won, they were finally tested, and then they came out tonight against Danville, obliterated them. It's over. It's over for me. I don't need to see anymore.
What you told me earlier?
They'll really show it, though, in the next 2 weeks, because next week at Fredericktown, week after that, they're at East Knox. And I don't
care.
Mr. Blake, I know. I
book it.
Look at me. I'm the one that's like, hold on. You got to take care of business, because there's been a couple years. They were 9-0 going to Highland a few years ago for the KMAC Championship, lost that one. They were undefeated, state ranked in 2021. Centerburg came to town, beat them 14-7, then they lost Highland again. So they just have to take it 1 week at a time. They do have the best roster, things like that. 1-0 each week. 1-0 each week. They keep playing like they do tonight. Don't overlook anybody. But the 3 top teams right now, Northmor plays both of them coming up the next 2 weeks, and then you could really start being comfortable. But hey, you never know in the KMAC.
Etch their name on the trophy now, Andy. Let them know.
Yeah, but just
show's over.
What are we waiting for? Start the parade. Let's go.
Can we just get to the playoffs?
Just mark this down now. If they do slip up, Jardy, he's the one to blame.
No.
Yeah, we'll see. Northmor, like Travis says, they've always had that one little hiccup. Can they kind of keep it all together this year in the KMAC right now?
Best
it is
chance
theirs
to.
For the taking.
Best chance to.
All right, let's check out the Firelands Conference now. So this is the one that I feel like is going to be, outside of OCC, which I don't know what to make of it, this is going to be the confusing one, because I don't want to count out Crestview just yet. I feel like St. Paul, even though we saw them live and free multiple times this year, not even be able to score an offensive point, it just seems like they're going to be in the mix at the very end of the season. They'll be competing with the likes of the Eagles and the Rough Riders. Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't tell you you're wrong, because I'm starting to feel the same way after we were driving back after doing our game tonight. I'm checking the scores, and it's like, oh, look at St. Paul won 34-0. Here
Surprise.
they come. Yeah, they've started to figure things out there offensively after the slow start to the year, and they're another team that played a brutal non-conference schedule and struggled with it, but now getting into Firelands play, they have started to find their rhythm offensively here. Monroeville sitting there unblemished at the top, one of the few remaining unbeatens in our area. To me, it comes down to Monroeville and St. Paul. It really does. I'm not sold on Crestview like you are. I mean, I know that they put up 67 points tonight, I think, in their win. But yeah, I think it's Monroeville and St. Paul here down the stretch. And it feels so weird to say this because I've seen St. Paul twice, and it was abysmal the first game against Calvert. They could not do anything right offensively, and they got things figured out against Mapleton. But I almost want to take St. Paul to come away and win this thing.
Well, I will say that I was looking at my crystal ball before the season started, and I scheduled that St. Paul at Monroeville game for Week 10, and I said this probably is going to have a lot of juice to it. So obviously there's going to be plenty at stake when those two teams play, but don't count out my Crestview Cougars just yet, Andy. I feel like they have enough pieces. If they can play a couple of the bottom feeders in the league and get their confidence built back up, they tend to play to the level of their competition. So when they get their shot at St. Paul and Monroeville coming up here in the next couple of weeks, I feel like they're going to compete. Hopefully I'm right.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess, right?
That's what it's all about.
Your Crestview Cougars, Week 1, they put up a battle with Seneca East, and look where Seneca East is at right now as well.
True.
Cancel out that Kirtland game. Kirtland is just,
forget about it.
They're playing Marion local and stuff evenly, but that Seneca East game, Week 1, they played them tough. And Seneca East right now, the top of the Northern 10. So I agree with Brian. Don't count out Crestview yet.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I just think that Crestview and St. Paul do just enough to stay in the mix no matter what week it is.
They'll be there.
They're just going to be there, and you're just going to have to deal with it.
It'll be Week 9, and they're going to be within striking distance, Jonathan. You know it.
Yeah. That was the thing that was impressive to me tonight, going back to our game, Brian, with Hillsdale. You talk about playing Kirtland. I mean, Dalton played Kirtland Week 1 and put up 34 points on them. And, gave them a bit of a game. So that was kind of what I was thinking tonight. They were going to have their way with Hillsdale, and that was just not the case.
Yeah, totally anticipate the Bulldogs bouncing back. And I told you on the car ride back, I probably could see them going 5-0 the rest of the way. That offense, too dynamic. They've got so many playmakers out there on the field. But Dalton's going to be just fine. They're going to be a tough out when they get into the postseason if everyone stays healthy.
And if I saw correctly, going around the Wayne County Athletic League, Rittman got blown out tonight by Norwayne, 42-3. So, watch out for Norwayne. Watch out for the Wayne County Athletic League. What a league!
It's a good league.
It's a fun conference. Absolutely,
good league up there at the top.
Yeah. Do you call it a conference or is it a league? What's the difference?
I guess we'll go with league. Yeah, let's just stick with the name. Makes sense.
We'll sleep on it. Yeah.
Well, a lot of fun again here this week, Andy. 5 chapters already in the book this regular season, so we are moving right along, man. But I gotta say that the Jardy party, always the best part of the show. I'm just not good at knowing when to say goodbye.
Oh, what is this? What is this? Did I just do that?
Hand motions or something with the computer.
Oh, that's
right. Try that again. I don't know. It's not going to do it for us, but.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now he's got fireworks.
It's a real party here.
We're really blowing our budget on this thing with Andy tonight.
Yeah, we're running out of money. We got to get off the air. It is past 1 a.m. Thank you, everybody out there, for watching. Hope you enjoyed tonight's Friday Night Pigskin, and still plenty more to come. See you next week.
Bye, guys.